Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of mine. This time I'm back with Not Me episode 8. To be quite honest, I haven't reacted to this show for a week now because life happened. The new episodes from the game I'm reacting to came out and the finale of Last Twilight. I was so booked, and then also school, work. It's been a busy week. But I'm back and I'm so excited for this. If I remember correctly, Sean showed up at White's doorstep. No idea what this man is on about, considering that this man actually tried to strangle White the last episode. But what I'm more interested in is, apparently everyone already realized, I'm way more invested in the officer and DanYok. And I'm so excited to see what's gonna happen. If you ask me, I have the feeling that this man is gonna paint him for his workshop. Like we saw that before the officer caught DanYok. DanYok was doing a presentation because apparently he had to figure out a theme that he wanted to work on for his finals. And he wanted to show the pain of a human being on a naked human body. And he pointed out the fact that he doesn't understand why beauty is defined differently, as in I would assume that he meant because of different body types. There are a lot of slander against people that are more fat than others, and only skinny people are viewed apparently as beautiful. At least that was it like for me in general, as in not just now but also when I was young and also skinny. So it was like a personal problem that these people had with me. Or they were just jealous. I mean, hello. If I would know myself, I would be jealous of me too. I'm gonna stop, okay? Like, do not listen to me. But anyways, I'm intrigued to know what's gonna happen. I have the feeling that the officer's gonna play along because he did handcuff DanYok and then he uncuffed him. And he allowed DanYok to place him the way he wanted to. So he was like, you painted me without my consent. Of course you can paint me, but now it's my turn to paint you. So I'm intrigued to know if it's actually gonna be for his art class, or if this man is just gonna paint him in a certain sense that's just supposed to be like some kind of bonding session, as in to show that these two have connection. Because like I said, every single, whether it's musician, as in general an artist, they have their muse. They just consider that person differently. I call it muse, like the person you think of and that inspires you is your muse. I'm gonna call that person my muse too, considering that there are different types of artists. There are also different kinds of definitions for someone's inspiration. I'm gonna call my inspiration my muse. But let's see if this is actually gonna be something like this, where he's like gonna try to portray the pain and sorrows on a human body, and he's gonna use a police officer as a search of inspiration, considering that we have established that the officer is DanYok's muse. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. For the full uncut reaction, you can check out my Patreon. The link is in my description box below. And without further ado, let's start.
มึงใช้สมองมากขึ้นยิ้มง่ายขึ้น
I'm sorry, I just needed to point this out. I feel so bad. Why am I feeling bad? Because the way they all keep on describing Black and compare him to White now, I mean, they don't know that it's Black, but we as the people that know that this is White, how miserable must Black have felt the entire time? They keep on saying, yeah, you've changed so much, you smile more, you use your head more, as in, what is this man in general doing? Like, where are this man's feelings? This man apparently doesn't do anything, as in this man completely abandoned his emotions, his humanity. Apparently, the way he's like, you use your head more, that means that this man always did everything without thinking, as in spontaneously, which would also explain why this man got jumped and his companions don't know about it. So this man used all the cards he could to get what he wanted, and he always did that in an unpredictable way, which is why people say you only go by your emotions. When you only go by your emotions, you're unpredictable, which also means you're impulsive. When you're impulsive, it means that rage or in general emotions get the best of you, and you can't do anything but to go by them, as in you allow emotions to dictate how you feel. It's just like when someone says you see red. You see red when it comes to a specific topic, and as soon as someone touches that topic, you become offended or you become angry. Why? You can say if the shoe fits. Like if you personally feel connected to a specific topic, you will always kind of feel sensitive when it comes to that topic, no matter who you are as a person. And considering the fact that we know that Black never got really connected with any of his friends, how was this man living? As in, this man must have isolated himself the entire time, like he surrounded himself in order not to completely become berserk, as in to completely give up on his emotions, because if I have no one around me, who should I show my tender side to? No one. And then what do I do when I can't show my nice side to anyone or my tender side? Like, what do I do when I can't show my love anyone? I kind of put that side away. I try to exclude that personality trait, because caring too much also means that you will allow yourself to get hurt too much. And considering everything we know about Black, this man tried to not feel as much as possible, which is why he also said that his girlfriend shouldn't be hung up on him, even though he did it to protect her. And that's like him saying, I love you. And if you actually let go of the only person that makes you want to be good, as in the light, considering that he lost White, and I would assume that his girlfriend was his light then, and he let her go, even though he was still in love with her, meant that he was trying to erase that good side of him, as in that part of himself that would have been willing to think twice. Think twice, why? Because if you have a person or something to go back to, it's like you think twice, as in, am I doing the right thing? Like, if I don't come back, what would happen to him or her? As in, this kind of regret that I talked about once. And this man wanted to erase every single person from his life back then that could have been some kind of obstacle. We can also consider it like when you go to therapy and you are emotionally unstable, they're like, you need to stay away from emotional triggers. Who are triggers? People that are capable to reach you, to stir emotions inside of you, no matter what kind of emotions they are. But in general, they're powerful emotions, as in either hate or love. So, considering the fact that he loved Eugene, he was like, bye-bye, girl, I can't have you involved in this. From one side, you wouldn't understand, but I think that was just his way of saying, please let me go. Because maybe he knew that if he wasn't harsh with her and didn't actually hurt her, she wouldn't have given up. So maybe he used those words to push her away. But that was just technically him saying, please leave. As in, please don't get involved in this. He was trying to sever his connection to his trigger. Because if you don't have any triggers, it's like you can think more clearly. And Black thinking clearly is him being capable to ignore his emotions and acting all on impulse. If you don't have any positive thing in your life anymore, anything that could make you rethink your impulsive actions, you go with what you believe is right. Considering he didn't have Eugene anymore, which was his soft spot, or White, who was his anchor and his light, the only thing that was left was darkness. So he went with what he thought is right, and that's why he also got hurt. So hearing all of these men talking all that negative about Black actually hurts me, because how lonely must that man have felt? Why would he think it is a good idea to sever himself from his friends and his girlfriend. Like, why did he think that that was a good idea? That was just gonna make him feel even more miserable, because that's when loneliness truly hits you. Because if you don't really have someone that is like around you, it's like you say, I'm alone against the world because I don't have anyone. But this time we can't literally say it was destiny. It was like Black's own choice. Why did he choose to sever all of his emotional attachments, even though we saw that his relationship with his friends wasn't always good? They were always kind of like this hate relationship, but it actually seemed that he cared, because if he wouldn't have cared, he would have let them know. He knew that he was gonna go after Tawi, and we can see that all these men are willing to go after Tawi. So why wouldn't he have said anything? Maybe he thought it was too dangerous and he didn't want to put them in danger. So I'm actually wondering what this man had in mind when he went after Tawi alone.
หรือถ้ามึงอึดอัดกูพร้อมที่จะรับฟังมึงนะพ่อกูเคยทำงานให้ทวีเป็นคนขนยาสิ่งที่เขาทำตามกูไปทุกที่
I have the feeling that I kind of understand what's going on. I think Sean is projecting. He's projecting the hate he felt at his father and how the circumstance evolved after his father was killed. He is projecting that rage and what happened afterwards. I mean, I would call it bullying at school, and the fact that Tawi was growing bigger and bigger while the life of him was being ruined even more just because his family got just because of the impact Tawi had on this man's life was kind of like enough to stir like his rage. But I don't think that Tawi has anything to do with this. As in, yes, he's a drug lord, yes, that's bad, but the fact that his father was killed was not Tawi's fault. His father could have said no. If he was kind of forced into it, then that's a different thing. But since we don't know that, and this man apparently had been working for this man willingly, because if he would have regretted what he did, he wouldn't have resisted. So this man was in on it and he willingly complied to it. And that hurt Sean, because Sean was like, yeah, I thought he was an honest man. He taught me well, yet he was doing all those two-sided things. So what gave him the right to teach me to be honest and be strong when this man chose the easy way out? He tried to resist and then he got shot to death. So Sean sees this as Tawi's fault because his father was working for Tawi. And considering the fact that apparently Tawi is a drug lord, he was like, if Tawi wouldn't have offered the job to my dad and my dad wouldn't have accepted it, my dad would still be alive. And maybe I wouldn't be living this horrible situation I'm in with all that pain, with all that regret. Because apparently his mom is not there anymore. Like, she got sick and she died as well. So this man is completely alone. That's why he's living in the garage of his friend. So it was like the fact that I came across Tawi's path is what got me in this situation, as in he is projecting the rage he felt at his dad for having been a drug trafficker onto Tawi, because it's like the entire storyline that led to this point. I kind of made that reference in Only Friends too. Here, in this particular situation, it's the entire storyline that led to this. The fact that Tawi was the one that made this man work as a drug trafficker, then his father being shot to death, Sean losing his father and having to grieve because of that fact, and having to learn that his father was a drug trafficker because he worked for that, then all the pain he was in because he remembered all the times where his father would tell him that he needs to be truthful, that he needs to be strong and confident, as in he needs to be a grown-up for himself, for his mother as well, because maybe the father knew that sooner or later his luck would be out and the police would catch him. So I have the feeling that the father tried to prepare Sean for the inevitable because he knew, and Sean, like having to lose his father, then all the hurtful thing than all the pain he was in by remembering all the moments where he would see his father as a hero, as a good father figure, as someone he wants to look up to, as someone he wants to be like in the future. And all of those advices, all of those beautiful moments that he was imagining in his head that would have been a lie after the revelation of his father being a drug trafficker, then his mom dying after that happened, and him being left alone, him having to study even harder than everyone else because of the fact that the system is wrecked, him having to live in horrible conditions. I'm not saying anything about Gumpa. I mean, this man is a sweetheart. He let him stay there, but that doesn't excuse it. Like, that place is actually falling apart, as in it's not in good conditions. And maybe Sean has been living in better conditions, but because he can't provide for himself, considering he's still in college, he still needs to work his ass off, and then maybe he won't even get the chance to prove that he's worth it because of the system and because of people like Tawi that are above the law. He projected all of that pain, everything that led to him being in this particular circumstances, to Tawi, because he was like, this all started when my dad accepted the job from Tawi. So he's like projecting that, all of those frustrations, all that pain that he's in right now onto Tawi. That could make sense why he's mad at Tawi. But still, it's his father's fault because this man resisted. That means that this man was in on it the entire time and he was fine with it. So that means that his father was not an innocent man. This man was in on it, and that makes him even more mad because maybe Sean has the feeling, because let's be real, no one wants to believe that anyone in their family is shady or a bad person. So maybe Sean is thinking that Tawi kind of made his father become rotten, and that's why his father learned to enjoy drug trafficking, or in general just doing bad things, while he tried to teach his son Sean that he always has to go by the law. So he's like, what a hypocrite. And in general, it all leads back to Tawi, as in the entire storyline that led Sean to be in that particular circumstances. That's what's hurting him. So that would make sense why he's mad at Tawi maybe. But I would still say that it's the father's fault because he accepted the job.
กูทำให้มึงเห็นว่ากูไว้ใจมึงเลยทิ้งตัวลงมา
Let this man sleep, sir? Or are you that fascinated with this man's beauty? Because he is beautiful, let's be real. He's exploring his sexuality.
พี่ถอดเสื้อผ้าออกได้ไหม
Yes!
ถอดด้วยเหรอ
Yes.
โปรเจกต์ของ
I'm sorry. Hold. No. It's the silent not for me. It's the silent not for me. As in, this man wants this man to take off his clothes that badly. Yet he can't bring himself to say it because the desire inside of him is so strong already. So he's like, please take it off.
ใช้ภาพนู้นเพื่อสื่อให้เห็นถึงความเจ็บปวดของคนที่ถูกกดขี่ร่องรอยของสังขารและผมก็แค่อยากตั้งคำถามว่าทำไมเราเป็นมนุษย์เหมือนกันถึงถูกมองความงามไม่เหมือนกัน
I love this man. I love this man.
เก่ง
Don't be so tense. You're not the one that has to take off their
ปล่อย
clothes.
ตัวตามสบาย
Sir, I'm pretty sure that he's also turned on by you.
นั่นแหละ
Sir, you don't need to. Sir, the comment was unnecessary. You will be turned on the second you see his hard dick. He knows it and you know it too. Look at this man staring at him.
ถ้าหมอนใบนี้ออกอ่ะผมจะถือว่าพี่คิดเรื่องอื่นนอกจากศิลปะนะ
I am not. That's the problem. Look at this man's face. He's not thinking about art either.
เรื่องอื่นเหรอ
Stop it! Stop it! Stop putting me on the spot!
นี่แหละ
It's the fact that this man complied to it even. Me too, sir! But to be quite honest with you, I don't think that Yok would mind taking off his clothes. He did offer it in the last episode, if I remember correctly. He's like, you want me to take off my clothes? But it's just differently. I mean, it depends on how ready a person is. There are people that are earlier ready with skinship, and there are people that don't. So, if I am psychologically not ready to take off my clothes in front of anyone, especially in front of someone that I'm totally into, then that's like a problem that I have to solve. Like, not everyone is ready at the same time. Like, if I'm not ready with 25 that I can take off my clothes with my lover, then that's like not everyone is ready to take off their clothes and show their body to everyone. Like, a lot of people say a body is a body, but it depends on the circumstances. For example, if I don't feel comfortable in my own body and I need to change in front of a lot of women, for example, that are a lot skinnier than me, they have the perfect body shape, I feel very insecure. So I'm like, no thank you, I'm gonna change somewhere else, as in so that you guys don't even see a bit of my skin, because I feel insecure. Like, I would like to have more boobs and less stomach, for example. Like, everyone has like this insecurity that they're fighting with. And I said it once in a reaction, I think it was in last Twilight, where I said, if you don't have problems, you make yourself problems. And that's sadly how things are. If I don't have psychological problems, then I make myself, and I don't have physical problems, as in, I don't know, I am mute, I am blind, or I don't have legs anymore due to an accident, then there is physical marks, okay? Like, not everyone is ready to show that insecurity that they have with everyone. So maybe that policeman has that physical shyness because of his insecurities. Like, a lot of people feel insecure about how they look like because of what people have told them in the past, or about how people made them feel, which is why they either only wear makeup. For example, people that have been told that they're ugly, they grow to put on a lot of makeup because they're like, maybe I look prettier then. And then there are a lot of people that are like, that have been told that they are fat, so they refuse to wear skinny jeans, for example, or hot pants, as in anything that shows their curves, because that's like their insecurity. So maybe this man has like some kind of insecurity about his body. I don't know, maybe this man has been shot or something, or maybe someone has told him something that made this man insecure. That's like one side you can see this. The other side here, if I am much more of a shy person when it comes to someone I like, and that person asked me to take off my clothes, this is like me having to accept the fact that I could disappoint the view of what they saw when I was fully clothed. And especially if I like someone, I'm talking about me right now, I want that person to like me, as in everything about me. Not only my character, but also my body, as in I want them to be physically and psychologically attracted to me. I want them to like all of me. And if they like my personality traits, but they kind of seem to be disappointed when they see my naked body, then I feel even more ashamed because I want them to like me. So maybe that's what this man is feeling, because he may not be the confident gay like DanYok over here, but this man has some kind of affection towards him. If he wouldn't have, this situation between these two would have ended pretty differently. You can see that this man is interested in DanYok somehow, and even if this man doesn't want to admit yet that he has romantic feelings for DanYok, you can actually see that this man is flustered when DanYok is around, especially considering that DanYok is that outgoing, that confident in who he likes, and he pursues them without any mercy. We can see that this man is pretty, I don't want to say intimidated because that would be like something bad, but this man gets flustered, insanely shy when DanYok makes those subtle comments. You saw that this man didn't know how to respond when DanYok was like, are you thinking of something more than art? What do you expect? Like, I'm into you, you sorry ass. I'm into you. And I want you to like every single part of me. And if you don't, I would feel insanely ashamed. And especially, I think it's easier to see it when you're a man than when you're a woman, Because when your dick is hard, it's hard and it's visible. You can see it, especially if you're like a guy. I mean, I wouldn't know. Like, y'all, what is this conversation turning into? Like, I wouldn't know how a hard dick looks like. So I personally wouldn't know. But like, especially a guy, he would like see the difference. So he's like, if you don't take that thing away, I would assume that you're thinking of something else. And if I am truly into someone, especially if they keep on teasing me, etc., like if I get a boner, the person can see it. So I would feel even more reluctant to show myself completely naked. And the fact that this man is smiling because of that is because this man knows. He knows that he has this powerful effect on this man, which is why this man refused to take his clothes off completely and or the pillow. Like, the pillow was literally just hiding his dick. So that was him like trying to hide his boner. So he was like, if you don't take that pillow away, I would assume that you're thinking of something else than art, aren't you? As in, you're thinking of sex.
การเป็นตำรวจอะความฝันผมตั้งแต่เด็กแล้ว
It was your dream. Is it still your dream? Oh, apparently it's not. So he's not content with being a cop now. And this is the connection that the teacher was talking about back then in episode 2. Create that emotion, that powerful emotion between yourself and your muse, as in the person that poses for you. Oh no. He's also feeling the emotions. Yeah. What happened back then, sir?
ได้สารภาพบาปที่ตัวเองเคยทำไว้ครับผมนึกกลับ
Yok
ไป
is
แก้ไข
feeling
อะไร
the
ไม่
pain
ได้
too.
สุดท้าย
Stop.
ผมก็ทำอะไรไม่ได้เลย
Stop. 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 No. 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 Like, you guys need me give me I can't even talk anymore. You need to give me a few seconds to process. No. So apparently it means that this man did something wrong in the past, and he feels so guilty about that, no matter what that is. And apparently that pain has been on his mind ever since he did that mistake. And because of the fact that he was feeling so guilty, he tried to find a way to make up for the bad thing that he did back then. And that's why he became a cop. He like tried to proclaim justice in his eyes, but it was like more him thinking that if he helps or saves human beings, it kind of could make him feel better about the fact that he did something wrong in the past. Maybe he hurt someone that he didn't mean to, doesn't matter how, and there was no way for him to make up for what he did. So the guilt started to eat him alive, and the only thing that this man could do was watch as the guilt was eating him and destroying him from the inside out. Like, when you feel so guilty, like insanely guilty, you don't see anything but the guilt inside of you. So maybe the guilt was so powerful that no matter what this man did, it kept on reminding him of that horrible thing that he did in the past. As in, the guilt was following him around. No matter what he did, he couldn't shake off that feeling of guilt. So he tried to find a way to commit good deeds, and he was hoping that those good deeds could make the guilt he was feeling on the inside less. From one side, I understand what he is doing, but from the other side, it's not gonna work like this, because if I did something horrible to one person, then in order for that pain, for that guilt to go away, I need to find a way to make it up to that person. If I don't specifically make it up to that person, the guilt will always remain, because I may have done something good for someone else, but I will still move back to that person that I did wrong once in the past. Like, if I want to make it up and erase that guilt that I'm feeling, I need to make it up to that person specifically. I may not be capable to take back what I did in the past, okay? But considering the fact that I tried everything in my power to make it up to that person, maybe them saying thank you or I forgive you could help ease this man's guilt, and he could find a way to move past that. Or him being capable to apologize to that person that he wronged and saying, I'm really sorry for everything that I did to you. I didn't mean to. I was in a horrible state back then, or maybe I did something without thinking. I hurt you without actually realizing it, and I never intended to hurt you, but I can't do anything about the fact that I hurt you in the past, but I want to let you know that I'm trying everything in my power to make it right. As in, I want to make it up to you somehow. Tell me how I can make it up to you. The other thing is, if he did something that was so horrible that the other person wasn't willing to even hear him out, then that theory is gonna be down the drain real quick. So maybe he didn't even get the chance to find a way to make it up to that person, so the pain kept on creeping in more and more, because if I can make it up to that person, then maybe I will feel even more pain, because there will be an even bigger guilt on top of that. First off, I couldn't help that person. I did that person dirty. Then I didn't even try enough to make it up to them. And now it's too late to make it up to them. So I will feel guilty for the fact that I didn't realize sooner about the wrongs that I've been committing. And now it's too late to make it up for that. So I will feel guilty for the fact that I didn't realize that what I was doing was wrong. And now nothing I do will be capable to erase that guilt, as in that problem that I created is no more redeemable. I can't make up for that problem. So maybe this is what this man is going through. He is feeling that much guilt, and maybe he can't make it up to that person that he wronged in the past. So he tried to make other people feel good about themselves, or he tried to help them, save them even, because he couldn't help or save the person that he wronged in the past. Maybe he was responsible for that person to feel insane pain. Maybe he inflicted that much pain on this man that it changed him to a person that was unrecognizable. And by the time that this man realized that he did that person dirty, it was too late for that person to accept this man's words or this man's advices. Maybe that person was like, then, yeah, you can leave. I don't need you anymore. I think you've done enough. And maybe that's like that kind of pain that this man is troubling with. He's fighting with that kind of pain. So he tried to kind of make it up by becoming a police officer, by helping other people, as in save them, in order to like make himself feel better about himself for having committed such a horrible thing in the past. But like I said, we're all different. Like what I may see as a problem may not what you see as a problem. But this is not about any of us. This is about this man. And apparently the thing that he did was so powerful, so horrible for him, that it actually traumatized him to this day. Because it doesn't seem like it was yesterday when it happened. It seems that he's a police officer for a very long time. So maybe the fact that he screwed that person over in the past, or like hurt that person and did something wrong, that traumatized him that much that it actually motivated him to become a police officer. Because back in the day, maybe he was hoping that becoming a police officer and standing up for what's good and what's right would help him be capable to move on from what happened back then. But it doesn't seem like it worked. He's still traumatized by that. Oh, stop. Stop crying. It's okay. Oh. I think that's what he needs right now. Some kind of confirmation that all the work that he did, all the input that he tried to do in order to make him feel better was the right thing. There was no reason for him to tie him up.
ซื้อมาเยอะแยะไม่กินก่อนนะ
กินแค่นี้ก็อิ่มแล้ว
Are you sure about
ให้ยูจีนเขาได้
that?
ปะวะ
Why?
เขารักมึงมากเลยนะเว้ย
I feel like it's quite the opposite. I feel you love her a lot.
เขาทำให้พนักงานที่ผมถือว่าเป็นครอบครัวเดียวกับผมต้องตกงาน
Lost their
ดี
jobs.
เข้าตัวเลยครับ
Ooh, sir, shut it.
ไอช้อนใจเย็น
That
มารยาทด้วย
calm
นะคะ
down. I mean, we be in the known that Sean is that explosive when it comes to Tawi, but this man is not actually realizing that he's posing danger to the people that are literally at the bottom of the food chain. I said it so many times already. I don't think I need to add anything more to that. The people that are dependent on this man's success and power are the ones that he can easily put down even more. People that are dependent on the job that this man can offer to them. They could become victims of this man's tantrums. If this man says that I've had it with people keeping on saying that I'm a horrible person, then he will try to subtly impose his power to destroy the little chances of success people at the bottom of the food chain have. That means because of this man's outbursts, he could provoke Tawi to that extent where he's like, let me show them who's boss. Like this man needs to know when to shut up. But because of the fact that he sees this as personal, and he has this personal beef with Tawi because of what happened with his father, this man can't be silenced, so this man needs to literally leave the class. Please, you are literally making it worse for the people that are in need of the jobs that only this man can provide. I did kind of say
ที่เขา
weakness.
ทำให้ผมเจ็บปวดเพราะรู้ว่าสิ่งที่เขาเจอมันเจ็บปวดยิ่งกว่า
ที่มาทราบทีหลังว่าอดีตพนักงานของพี่อะไปเกี่ยวข้องกับยาเสพติดแต่พี่ไม่ได้เกี่ยวข้องอะไรด้วยเลย
Okay, before we continue, I think that the fact that this man is talking now quietly is kind of helping his case in a certain sense, because that's making Tawi open up a little more. Let's just say it like this. I think what Sean did, like I already said that, like he screwed up by tackling this man and provoking him so much in front of all of these people. But actually taking him aside and actually talking about this, trying to get some answers for himself, was actually the right decision, I think. Because the problem was with his father, okay? Like, this man could have said no, but he didn't. And so, he resisted the police officers, and then one of them shot him. Now, even if Tawi had something to do with it, it was your father's decision. It was Sean's father's decision to go with the drug trafficking or not, and he went with it. So when he refused to go with the police and he got shot, that's what he got. Because he literally was resisting. If he would have went with them willingly, maybe he would still be alive today. But he didn't. He refused to go to prison, maybe, etc. So he was willing to be shot. Now that's one thing. But I think it was good that he was looking for a private conversation with Tawi, because the only person that actually could kind of give him like the answers that he seeks would have been from his father. But since the father is not there anymore, the only person he can connect to all that pain that he has been going through and that have been following him to this moment ever since his father died is Tawi. So the fact that he's taking his frustrations out on Tawi by actually not using anger, but the sadness and despair that makes him break into anger, that makes him have those angry outbursts, is good, because he's not allowing that resentment to lead him right now. He's allowing the pain to find a way to come to the surface. He's allowing the pain to make its way out. And he's not allowing the pain and frustration that comes by having kept all that pain on the inside for so long control him. He's not allowing that pain that he has been keeping on the inside, trying to cover with all that anger, with all that rage, with all that wrath, with that negativity inside of him, dictate how this man reacts. And that's good. Because considering the fact that he is calm now, means that he can actually get some real answers right now. Just screaming is not always gonna be the answer.
ถึงแม้เป็นนักศึกษาพี่ก็ฟ้องน้องได้ ก่อนจะทำอะไรอะดีก่อน
Me too. Push him again.
เดี๋ยวคืนนี้มึงโดนแน่
Uh-huh. What are you gonna do to him? Are you gonna sexually punish him? Because that's the only punishment I will accept.
มึงเคยคิดป่าวะ ถ้าพวกเราไม่ทำเรื่องพวกนี้อยู่อะตอนนี้เราจะทำอะไรกันอยู่วะ
เป้าหมายในการมีชีวิตอยู่ของกูคือเรื่องนี้ แล้วก็มึงอีกคนหนึ่ง
Excuse you? How did we get here? Yo, I'm sorry, what even was this episode? I had the feeling that the producers cut it always at the wrong time. We had DanYok and his loving policeman in the afternoon, but before that, we had Sean and White in the evening. Then, the next morning, after Sean and White slept in the same bed, as in they weren't sleeping at the garage, and Sean came back to the garage after there was school, he asked, "Where were you last night?" It sounded to me as in you would ask that when someone comes in early in the morning, and you're like, "Where the hell have you been last night?" As in, where did you sleep? Then Sean handcuffed White to the bed and was like, "Yeah, you shady bitch." And then, at the ending of this episode, he's like, "You're the reason I'm still alive." What? What even was this episode? I couldn't even enjoy those beautiful moments because I was so taken aback with all those different kind of plot twists. What is going on? But I did know that I was gonna love the scene between DanYok and the policeman the most, and I was right. But the kissing scene, yes. I'm all in for Sean and White. I'm all in for Sean and White, even though I don't understand how the kissing scene came together. But I'm happy because we finally got to see Sean White. But I am intrigued to know what next episode is gonna be like. Apparently, there's gonna be a lot of following going around because Tawi feels threatened. I did say that Sean shouldn't have been too much and he shouldn't have provoked him. And now Tawi is after every single one of them. And apparently the policeman is gonna save DanYok from Tawi's men. So I'm intrigued to know what's gonna happen between these two the next episode. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.